People, it is Wednesday, July 30th. It is a loss of a day. A small loss, like a little $130 loss. Um, but let's just get straight into it. And yeah, I still want to kind of sit and see what the market does in the meantime while I'm explaining this, just to see what happens. And then, yeah, I'll kind of get into it. So let's see. Coming into market open on these larger time frames, I'm just going to go on each. On these larger time frames, like right here, we have on the 15-minute, we're consolidating overnight inside of this daily fair value gap. So if anything, I'm looking for us to, come in and potentially consolidate or something like this. Just, kind of take out liquidity. I was kind of not really long biased on the day. I did want us to go lower on ES after seeing what happened in the 9:45 around there. Um, However, that might have been a play for later in the day or later in the week or I don't know, something. Anyways, we come into this daily for value gap, tapping the low, start slowly breaking higher, create some relative equal lows, and we took them out. As soon as we opened in the morning, we took them out. And as soon as we did that, I'm like, all right, we have an SMT. I'm gonna start looking for two fair value gaps. There's 3 1-minute fair value gaps in there, so I couldn't find anything. But then on NMQ, right? Oh no, MNQ, and then on the 30-second, there was also 2, 1, 2, that got disrespected, and then not disrespected, but just not respected. And then this is the one I was looking on the 15-second. We didn't get any of them coming down into there. So that trade left us. That was a nice little bread and butter to the buy side. And then eventually we took it. So once we took that buy side, we had a, what is this, 1:15 p.m. From yesterday at 1:15 p.m. We had this major ass SMT. So I was like, all right. I see that before we left also on ES, we left relative equal lows. So I was like, okay, I like how ES has this daily low inside of this large daily fair value gap. I want to see if price wants to come down into there and start to take some liquidity to the downside, since we already swept out a lot of buy side and we have a bearish SMT. And also, if you look on the 15-minute, we did have this order block up here and this wick. So once I saw all these confluences, I was like, all right, this is low-key looking good to the downside. I go on the 5-minute. I see that we have an SMT. Well, I'll just compare them. If you go right here, right there, SMT at the highs. So this was our SMT. SMT at the high. We took out our buy side in a wick, so I was okay. I didn't need any more buy side to be taken. I felt good taking the weaker because we did take some form of buy side, and we respected the wick quadrant. So I was like, all right, this is a perfect trade to go to the downside. So we started to reject right here. We put in our first inverse, not our first inverse, our first fair value gap, and then we put in another fair value gap after that. So at this point, I'm like, all right, perfect. Everything kind of checks out. We have 2 fair value gaps. We're consolidating right near our sell side that we left relative equal lows. I could see this as an accumulation of people buying before we come up and then dump. And keep in mind, we also have 10 a.m. news. I was comfortable with trading before 10 a.m. news because I didn't feel like there would really be any issues. However, this is where it kind of backstabbed me. Let's see. So I enter again with this candle coming up, and then inside this fair value gap I enter. Stop loss above this order block, propulsion, whatever you want to call it, right above there. And we consolidated. We consolidated, and then eventually we got stopped out. And after it came up and then just rallied up to the upside and took out all our buy side. So why am I not necessarily confused? I'm not necessarily confused. I'm disappointed about. I'm just going to kind of name a list. First thing is that we were in a daily fair value gap, so I kind of should have expected us to be going higher, or at least stayed patient for longer. Next, instead of because the setup is here, reject, enter here, and I entered when this candle was coming up. So and it's still valid, remember, until it comes up to here. So I was like, okay, it's okay. Maybe waiting for that 10 a.m. news to just go by. I thought the 10 a.m. news would be an economic driver. Look right here, to go to the downside. Like I thought we were gonna start fucking melting to downside. And we also had bearish news. So bearish news, bearish everything, and we still got caught up. And even after this little sweep right here, this is where you notice we have an SMT right here, right here. I could have took it off or took off like 50%. But once I saw this SMT, I was like, yeah, it's probably cooks. It is probably cooks. And yeah, that's kind of the trade. It was a really messy day. We have FOMC minutes in the PM session, and then just look at that larger time frame, 15 minute. It doesn't look that good, but on the 15 minute, it looked great to take some shorts. It looked great, but unfortunately, did not want to play out that way. All these SMTs got invalidated, and we just took out our buy side. So, what should I have basically watched out for? Not watched out for, but like what should I keep in mind for next time is also our 12 and 8, 12 and 8 o'clock. If you look at it, our entry was like right around there. So right at the 8:30. We can mark it on ES, but I don't usually mark it out because I just look at NASDAQ for type of stuff. That's our 8:30, and then our midnight is. This is barcode. A barcode overnight with ES is nuts, and that is our midnight. So, I was shorting below both of them. I really shouldn't have done that. Hindsight would not have been the best play. However, I was confident with this 8:30 rejection. Like, we're coming up above 12. We got our premium. We booked our premium, subbed out buy side in this wick. Put another fair value gap, another fair value gap. Come into it, reject. This is technically the entry, except I just waited for this candle to come up a little more, so I got a little better RR. So it came up, and then, yeah, that was trade. Got stopped out. So we didn't even we left this low and this low completely intact. I guarantee we come and get it later. There's no way we can warrant keep going higher off of this. But if I'm not gonna fight anything, I'm gonna probably just watch the macro on here on the video, see kind of if it plays out, some logic, some thought, food for thought per se. But yeah, I'm not even disappointed in today. That's just how some of these days go. I took only a small loss, only $130. So we're back to $500 negative balance. First trade of the week, also red. So not that bad. Realistically, I wanted to keep risk kind of smaller too because I was risking 130 for about 500, and then this would have been kind of my break even. So I don't know. That was my full take profit. That daily low, we did not want it. I guarantee we want it later. There's just nothing we can do time wise in order to really get that show on the road. So we will see. But yeah, now the setup does look a little better. We're above our midnight opens and stuff. And we could be able to find something maybe different. But yeah, no, this is all it's all garbage. If you look at it, look at this. This is the news day we have today. This is also maybe something I should look into, to not try to basically trade on these heavy ass news days. At 10:30, we already had some news, and then we have. Oh my gosh, we have FOMC funds rate today. I didn't even know that. Well, I thought we just had the press conference. Well, that would kind of explain the loss. Yeah, that would kind of explain the loss then. All right, so I'm not really disappointed, man. I thought we only had FOMC press conference, and I didn't even know this week is the funds rate. The 18th, 7th. I didn't know this week was the funds rate, man. That's interesting. All right, well, now I kind of know why. I'm not going to lock myself out. I will see if PM session wants to present itself with something, but actually, bro, that's not even healthy. I'm not trying to take another loss, so I'm gonna lock out. I don't want to take another loss. Trading FOMC. I would have loved for us to go lower, and I think we will go lower on the day. It's just a matter of manipulating all these people in the morning, and then seeing what happens. What's it called? Going into the afternoon session. So we'll see. But yeah, that was our SMT, and then relative equal lows. So these are not sustainable. Not sustainable. We got to come down there and get them. It's just a matter of when. It's not my call. But I'm gonna just look for a second. We do have a little SMT real quick. If we run this high on ES, I'm gonna be done. But dang, that surprises me. I didn't even know we would have fuck, man. I thought we didn't have the funds rate. The funds rate in the statement would have completely changed my bias into just trading PM session today and saying fuck AM session because it's gonna be ass. But what can you do? What can you do? Not much I can really do. We're already late. Not late, but we already had our trade on the day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's go over one more time what to look out for. Because I was expecting, let me see if I can find it. I was expecting a day like this. Hold on, why is this shit? I was expecting a day like this. If I can pull it up real quick. I was expecting a nice little don't mind all these random ass drawings. It's okay, like a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is a crazy ass day. Midnight open type of stuff. Damn, I don't even know what change in the state was or none of that shit. This wasn't even that long ago. I'm trying to find the day I was referring to, but I just can't. I can't find it. I think we got it. Yeah, this is basically the day I was thinking about. Except we didn't. That was not kind of like what happened. If we look real quick, it's kind of the same. So we come up. I'm just gonna delete this thing. All right, 12 can be tiny. 830 can be tiny. All right, so now we have kind of a better picture of what the hell's going on. Consolidation, sweep, buy side, and then trying to go lower. So consolidation, sweep that buy side. Maybe there's no SMTs and stuff there, but look what we have here. The same idea, not a liquidity sweep. And we pushed up, we inversed it, pushed up, inversed a bit, fair value gap, and then went lower. And I didn't even mark out first presented for today, but it's right here. So it's like basically the same shit. Should I count that as first presented? Yeah, I'll count that because it's not bodies really. I'll count that as first presented. But yeah, that's kind of the idea I was thinking about today. We come up and then we start to do like a bunch of shit, and we dump. Just because of the fact that we're trapping people before that 10 a.m. news. I thought that 10 a.m. news would be a driver, but it wasn't. Um, and I guess you could say it's kind of like the same loss that we kind of took here. But yeah, that's basically it. Unless I can find one more example to see. That's brutal. Wow, that's how I used to trade. I used to trade some crazy stuff, no lie to you. Yeah, what do you notice a lot about these trades? They don't make a lot of sense. So I'm gonna try my chart was black. So I'm just gonna tape read real quick. Yeah, I found what I wanted to find. It was like that consolidation and nice, just like chilling out before we want to decide to start to move lower. So I was like, shit, this is looking good to get somewhere. Just looking at this real quick type of I don't know. But let me just see real quick on these tiny time frames. Yeah, damn. I didn't know we had FOMC meeting minutes, or not meeting minutes, but FOMC, important FOMC today, and that's what fucked me. So I know that now. I'm not gonna get fucked up. I mean, surprised. I didn't really expect it. I don't know. This is a volume balance, not a fair value yet. Yeah. I'm just surprised. I did not expect that. Let me just see. Yeah. Let me just see what happens here. If we just sweep this and go higher, I would I would be completely fine with that. I don't really have any not gonna sit through this. I'm just kind of placing something for fun. But this is kind of what I would be looking for, I guess, now coming into the end of the session. Like I said though, I would not be trading any of this on my funded because we have FOMC in the PM session. Larger time frame for value up there. It's just not. There's just not a lot of good stuff to be happening here. But yeah, just keep a good read on what the hell is going on the news, because what's it called? Yesterday, we had if you look right here, we had Charmaine I say. Let me pull it up. Yeah, I said my entry would have been same based off the bearish for value gap. However, how did you comfortably trade it before 10 a.m. news drops? And it made me miss my trade for the day. Not disappointed, just following my rules. And I was like, he said, I used to miss a lot of moves waiting for 10 a.m. news. I've grown comfortable trading before then, as long as it's not 5 minutes before. So, it makes sense. It makes sense that to trade on a day like yesterday. I really hope I get stopped on that trade, because that would be the epitome of this shit. Yeah, right here. So looking at this, we had our 10 a.m. news right here, and today I didn't wait for it. Today I didn't wait for it, and we fucking reversed. But yesterday I waited for it, and it just it fucked us up longer term. We could have had a great trade. It was way more bread and butter. I knew everything was going on this day, and I even knew as soon as the sell side were done, and then so waiting for 10 a.m. news was pointless. And only if you count that tiny ass macro, but I'm not even counting that. I'm counting just the main trade. So yeah, that's kind of the logic. Be aware of what the hell is going on these larger time frames. Don't be like thinking. Hold on a second. Let me just see this really quick. Don't be thinking you're like indestructible, especially at a market like this, consolidating everywhere on the 15 minute. Um, Keep an eye out for this. Remember your smaller time frame SMTs because once I saw we had this SMT, I was like, it's probably cooks. And on top of this, we had this 15-minute wick off that 0.25, and as soon as you got that rejection, look what happens. Boom, we just start to skyrocket. So there's really nothing that I can do there about that except exit at that SMT if I'm feeling like yeah this trade's not going to work out, which probably would have been the best plan of action. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get busy with my life now. That's how trading's supposed to be. You're on the charts for a short amount of time. I'm definitely going to tape read PM session, and I'm probably gonna record it, and I might play some like a demo trade. If I see a setup, I'll probably get active on the demo just because I want to see, I want to get that price action feeling because that's what I was supposed to be trading originally, not this AM session, which was obviously terrible. So that's kind of nice to know. The only reason I like this trade, we have an SMT, large side by side SMT, inverse fair value gap, changing the state. I'm just going off my boy's model right now to see if he's can bank off this shit. But yeah, no, that's how it is. But yeah, that's all it is. Let's just let it run out then, because it's a good point. If we're up a lot, then I'll go break anywhere above our midnight open and 8:30 open. I'll take like a partial at here if we hit it. Give me a second. I was thinking, I was so like locked into thinking that we were just going to do this like thing consolidation, and then dump. Especially looking at the bodies, like our bodies are closing, 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 and I thought that was good. Our bodies, and even coming up again, our bodies were good. So I was like, yo, I think we're pretty much good to go. But it just wasn't. It just didn't want to play out. And it's definitely because of that FOMC later. I would not have taken this trade if we had FOMC, if I knew. I wouldn't even trade it this morning. Since I knew we would had like I thought it was just press conference, so I was like, oh yeah, it ain't shit. But fuck no, we got meeting minutes in that thing. Oh my gosh. Let me just write to my homies that today was not the day I wanted. Like I got stopped. Yeah, so if I trade PM session and find a nice paper trade, I'll just like take that as my trade of the day. I wouldn't even classify this as my trade of the day. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Well, that's first take profit on that. Yes. I mean, it makes sense though, and it's relatively simple. But I'm just targeting that fractal time, and then finally all that sell side that's down there. Just like it's like a big Judas swing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because all we offered was buy side in here. Let me hide this shit real quick. All right. I want to see real quick. What are we gonna do here? I gotta take the little puppy out, go on a little walk. She's excited. Look at her. She's really looking at me. From here, I think we could, probably reverse. Like this just looks like some crazy shit. But yeah, this is telling me pretty bearish. Nothing here is telling me bullish. You could very well come back out there. I don't really give a fuck. That's a great example of just being chill for today. But like I said, sweep SMT weaker. There's a double fair value gap here too. So that's kind of what made me even more. And then, but yes, it was weaker, so it would want to go down lower. Makes more sense, right? Changing the state, everything aligns. And if we can get it below this 830, we're definitely hitting our sell side down there. But yeah. 1 second. All right. I want to kind of, this is something I kind of want to go over, is Bitcoin larger time frame, Bitcoin larger time frame trading. Like, I know the 1 minute you don't trade that shit on 1 minute. All right, well, this shit looks like ass. But if you look, like, I mean, these levels I had way back when, bro. I used to be looking at Bitcoin with like the 40Ks, the 38Ks around there. But I'm trying to basically see what the hell I can do here on a daily time frame, like something that I can intraday trade, that can look nice, and especially how we're in not alt season, but like I like to say we're in crypto season. Like we have a quite good bit of momentum going here. I could definitely want to swing trade Bitcoin, because like if you look, like right here, we swept out lows. We have our first fair value gap. Then we have our second fair value gap. And right here, despite having this, right here would be the thing. I'll put my stop loss down there, especially if I'm like trading Bitcoin, and then I would just let it run, and then rally. I wouldn't be leveraged in it just because I don't want to be messing with leverage positions and my bread. So that's like all my bread in there basically I'd be swing trading with. So like, let's say, what am I doing here? So I took an entry there, 2.6%. Like, let me see how this shit works. If you look at ES over there, she's running. Let's see what Google AI or the fuck that shit is. Bro, what? Yeah, that shit does not make any sense. there's our sell side. So like honestly, bread and butter, bread and butter. Let me just see what NQ did because I want to see those two fair value gaps. $107. Since all-time highs, like a 1 to 3, I'll do like 16. $7K, about, why not? Yeah, so like that move would have been not on BTC, but oh, okay, well, whatever. So like basically I would be trying to swing trade Bitcoin for like $1,000 to $500 per trade, and then that's like without any leverage, and then I would try to basically just run it up longer term from that. So that would be like kind of a nice longer term intraday type of plan, like on a larger time frame. Like that was only from to like here. So we'll see. If we can predict these types of moves going higher like that, I might want to be leveraged, but there's no point for me to be leveraged doing that. Because if I'm making 500 here, I'd be losing what, like 100 or some shit. So yeah, let's go to this shit real quick though, cause that was insane. Let me see real quick. Let me hit up someone. This is a perfect trade to the downside, which is exactly what I want to see. So like basically, it's kind of strange how that shit works like that, right? What the hell is my damn NASDAQ? All right. So this is kind of exactly what I wanted to see this morning. I just don't expect us to do all that. So we consolidate, generate liquidity, we come up. We can't just come up. Like, this did not make any sense. This just told me that we were just doing some fishy business. Like, there was no reason for us to be doing that. That's why I was waiting to make this trade recap, because I was like, there's no reason for us to be doing that. I'm not going to close it up. I'm not going to, like, stop, doing the trade recap up here, and then price wants to come down and finally take ourselves on break even. So now I can finally get a full explanation out there. What I do, shorted below our 830.12. That was a mistake. I should have been longing if I'm doing anything. Remember, as premium discount. Come up, take out our buy side. No SMT remains. Boom, we get our SMT after consolidation. We're coming into the 11 macro, and I think on ES maybe. I don't believe we had any. We didn't have any shorter time frame setups like on the 1 minute. Like not 1 minute. We didn't have any 2 fair value gap setups. We only had the inverse fair value gap and the forever model. So basically SMT, change in the state, inverse fair value gap. You could have even called this the entry right here, but we didn't even get the SMT yet. We did get it, but like we didn't really get it, So yeah, that was the trade, and of course, my paper trading account, it never play around, bro. It never want to stop playing around. Like I'm telling you, bro. I mean, it was only like what, $190. Regardless, though, it's still the trade. It don't really matter what the fuck it is. Entry on the willingness of breaking down. Then we come up tapping it again. That's an even better thing to do. 830, take profit, and then finally that sell side and break even. So I'm done for a day. That's all I want to see. And once again, it's conflicting with that FOMC narrative in the PM session. So like, I don't know. Today was just kind of a fucked up day, but luckily we kept the loss small. Yes, we could have fucking traded that 2 for value gap set up. Like, oh my god. Yes, we could have traded that too for Valley Gap set up on NASDAQ. That's right there. That's like so beautiful and shit. But we wanted to be early and, dump that shit earlier. But it looks like we dumped it now. So that's how it is. Yeah. Some days just be doing that, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to see y'all. And yeah, I'm going to be maybe doing a tape reading session in the PM session or backtest session for Bitcoin. So we will see, and I will let y'all go. I'm glad I could hit this banger right here. Makes me kind of feel better, but I'm not really happy about this loss, It's like, damn, it's lame as fuck. It's only $133 though, or whatever, $35, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, y'all folks, peace out.